Welcome back to SFC Live. Myself and Danny are on the gantry. We're going to try and see where Sunderland maybe went wrong there, because in the end it was Sunderland 1, Huddersfield Town 2.
Yeah.
An odd game this evening,
Strange.
wasn't it? Really strange game.
Strange atmosphere, really. Obviously, a cold night in the stadium, like really. Early on, I think see chances here now. Early on the counter attack, and that's proved to be the case really when we get onto their second goal, isn't it? But yeah, it was the atmosphere in the stadium really. I think the tempo at times was flat. You know, the game probably went as we expected it to. How did they set up? Well, they sat deep, 5-4-1. Soaked a lot of pressure up, defended their box well. It's always going to frustrate
fans as well, isn't it? When you get a team that come up and put lines by the ball. But of course, when they score the first goal as well, they get more entrenched, don't they?
Yeah. Listen, they've had one win in their last 11 games. They've had one win. I think it was early in September. I think they beat West Brom away. That was their only win. So that's 2 away wins before this evening. Yeah, they had a good point at the weekend against Southampton. But they're not going to come up here and play open football and take us on in, as I say, in a gunfight really, because more often than not we're going to come out on top. So they sit in, they make it difficult. You can hear the crowd getting restless from us when there's no tempo in the ball. And I said sometimes, yes, you have to slow it down and look for those openings and almost entice them to come out and press you, so then you can pop it through the lines. And we did that at times. But yeah, overall it's a difficult night. Give them credit. Look, and I thought they handled Jack quite well at times. You know, he did get a bit of joy late on. He went on the outside a couple of times, but they doubled up on him well. They got 2-3 bodies out there and they stifled him. You could see Jack getting a little bit frustrated, but we can't just keep relying on give the ball to Jack and let Jack do his stuff and we'll come good. Other lads have got to start chipping in and goals. Lads have had opportunities this evening. O'Shea's coming into the team, obviously Mayenda as well. So it's going to be a frustrating one, obviously not just for the fans, for the players themselves, for Tony Moby and his staff, being there now scratching their heads. You know, the one at the weekend, I thought we were better at the weekend at Plymouth than what we were this evening, had better opportunities at times, but we've had a defeat down there. So you're thinking, listen, we'll get back to it on Wednesday night. We're up at the Stadium of Light against the Huddersfield team who are really struggling this season. But it's not meant to be. But yeah, here's the first goal now, so we're on to it. Ball in, set pieces. We have looked a little bit flaky at times from set pieces this season, haven't we?
Just looking at Hellick's momentum here.
Yeah, he's just gently on the move, isn't he? And just gets the run. And
by the time the leap comes, he's got to get a glancing touch on it.
Probably the smallest player in our team, in Patrick, on the post, isn't it? So he's got the run on him, and it's a comfortable one. He just nods it in from a couple of yards and gets his 5th goal of the season. And Jack with a free kick. Tests Maxwell there. Comfortable one, really, isn't it? Round the post for him. Decent enough strike from Jack, but I think he sees it all the way and then palms it round the post. But yeah, we'll get onto the goal in a second. So, but just look at Huddersfield there now. As soon as the ball goes out to Jack, and it wasn't really. I said before the game, I was expecting Matty Pearson to get squared up 1v1 a lot of the times, but it wasn't. It's wide men Jackson helping him out there. Kasuma was back helping him out, so they done really well. And something they'll have worked on, I'd imagine, in the last few days. But it is the equaliser now.
Back into it with Luke O'Nine. That came on the 39th minute.
Yeah, so
10 minutes after they scored.
Thinking, right, here we go. We're back on level terms. We haven't been quite at it this evening, so that could kick us on now. Let's have a look at it. So it's a deep free kick, isn't it, from Patrick? I think you look at Trey, who rescued one. Was it Birmingham, wasn't it, for the goal the other week, where it looked like it was going out the far side, nodded it across. Same again, back into an area. Jensen Seal back into that far post area, and Luke's there for a tap-in, isn't it, for his first goal of the season. He finds himself a couple of spaces, and then we're back on level terms. And you think, right, boys, come on, let's lift it now. You can hear the crowd trying to get behind the boys in that 5 or so minutes before the break. But it wasn't meant to be. We had a bit of a go second half. We were camped in their half, and then out of nothing, bang, balls in the back of the net, and it's 2-1, which we'll get onto it in a few minutes.
It's a good opportunity for Job.
Big chance for Job, yeah. It was a lovely ball from Luke. Look at that there. It takes a few players out of the game between centre-backs.
Did we see enough balls like that tonight?
No. I said it first off. Threaded balls runs in behind. Don't see enough of it.
Drop them over the top.
Mayenda had one second half. Yeah, ball over the top. He was a big, powerful striker. Give him something to go at. You can't always just play into feet. For centre-backs, and I was a centre-back, and what do I prefer as a centre-back? Seeing the man in front of me with the ball coming into his feet, or a centre forward who's pulling on my shoulder, like him, who's a big, strong, physical centre forward. I don't want to see him having balls threaded in behind me, and I'm running back towards my goalkeeper.
Bit of fortune about the second goal, but to be fair to Bergzorg, he takes it quite well.
Yeah, saying about Headley there, was it the fullback, goes on a mazy run, drops to him. Joe makes a good challenge. It's unfortunate. I think we can react a little bit better. Just have a look at it back now once the ball drops. I think Luke leaves it for Trey. Trey leaves it for Luke. And Bergzoy, he's just onto it, isn't he? He says, thanks very much, I'll have a piece of it if you two don't want it. And he just smashes it into that bottom corner. And that was them. They got themselves in front again. Just look at the bodies they've got back there. Dan Ballard going down.
Well, by this point, we've made the quadruple substitution.
They're all on there, yeah.
Pitchard going close
straight on from Maxwell, the goalkeeper there. And then say Hemir, he's waiting for it. He thinks he's got Dan Ballard in his way. Dan goes down.
Feels
like he's clipped.
There, yeah. Thomas
so
was a bit of a thorn in our side this evening, but he didn't really do anything.
He carries the ball up the pitch quite well for them, but the problem he has then, because he's the one carrying it, they've got bodies all behind the ball, he's got no one to pass to really, unless he can beat 2 or 3 on his own. Set play, his delivery wasn't bad, to be fair. And then there's Jack there getting to the byline again, smashes it there, keeper parries it.
A few shots of handball there. It's pretty harsh, that, isn't it? His
arm's inside. Yeah, I think it hits him on the elbow area. Just see it back again now, but his arm is against his body. It would have been harsh, let's be honest, if it's given against us. Just see it back now. So it's slowed down. Yeah, look, he leans it. His arm doesn't come away from his body to sort of smother it, does it? So, no, I think Dan Neil initially appeals for it, but after that, there's not too many appealing for it. But as you see there, yeah, that's what I want to see a little bit more from Jack there. Go on the outside at times, mixing up a little bit more. But yeah, I'm sure Tony's in there now, debriefing the boys, scratching their heads and thinking, you know, what's going on, boys? What's going on?
Yes. What should we do first? Let's have a look at the scores, shall we, from in and around the EFL Championship this evening. Blackburn scoring 4 at home, beating Birmingham City by 4-2. Leeds United 3-1 winners against Swansea City. Sheffield Wednesday 1-1 with Leicester City. No one saw that one coming.
Coop and Buster.
Yeah. Southampton 1, Bristol City 0, and Ipswich, they're winning 3-0 at home to Millwall. It's now 3-1, I've just been told. They're still playing at the moment. Yeah. Of course, Sunderland travelled to Millwall at the weekend. Let's have a look at the league table then. Sunderland, of course, getting no points from this evening. They sit in 11th as it stands. Starting to slip away a little bit from that top 6 there, Danny.
Just looking at it, though, back-to-back defeats, though, and if we pick ourselves up and go down to Millwall at the weekend, obviously it looks like they're on the back of a heavy defeat this evening. We could go there, and, you know, if we pick up, I know it's ifs and buts, but go there, pick up 3 points, and you're still right in amongst it, aren't you? It's that tight, so, yeah, we've got to get back on it. Again, it's a disappointing 3-game week, and we've had 2 defeats already, so we've got to try and finish the week strong.
Look here then. When you come back to us, let's have a look at your thoughts now in #AskDanny. It's a good opportunity to see what the fans are thinking and saying around the world. We've got a few of these. So why is Clark so reluctant to go outside when it always causes bother, Danny?
Well, it's a good point. I mean, something I've just mentioned there, you see it from the clips, second half, twice he went on the outside, he's fizzed one ball across, he's got a shot away and the goalkeeper saved it. But I think Jack can do a little bit more. He was also, it was like he was a little bit reluctant to go past. I think it was Jackson who was coming out there, but he's back himself, you know, he's sharp over 5 yards, Jack. He just knocks it past his man, he get himself into the box. Same with Patrick, I think, could do a little bit more on the other side. I know, obviously, they want to come in on their stronger foot and it opens it up for them to get the shot away, but just mix it up and it puts doubt in the fullback's head. So yeah, I can see the point he's making there, and I think something Jack will look at himself. You know, he's still a young lad. He's obviously, well, he's got 9 goals so far this season, hasn't he? He is the main man for us. I think we do rely on him a little bit too much at times. You see the amount of ball we give him onto this touchline. Credit to him, he keeps on going. He looked a little bit frustrated this evening, but we can't keep relying on Jack. Other lads have got to take the weight load off him really in that final third and start doing a little bit more as well. Okay,
let's have a look at another one of your thoughts on #AskDanny from Michael, who's been in touch. He says, are our woes due to a lack of expertise, quality, or just bad luck? I love watching the lads and see we are always in the game. What's the issue? Even a 20-kilogram striker
20 G's, 20 grand striker.
20 grand striker maybe wouldn't work for us. That's Michael in Azerbaijan. Thanks for watching, Michael.
So, well, it's a mixture of all of those, I think, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, of course, we're still waiting for the striker. What are we, 18 games in now, are we?
Yes.
Still waiting for the striker to get on the score sheet, aren't we? So everybody's had to go up there.
What did you think of Eliza Mayenda this evening?
You can see flashes from him of what he's about. Didn't have much of the ball in the second half. He had that one run, didn't he?
Yeah.
See, I was coming here tonight thinking, what would I have looked on? Maybe play someone up there alongside him, really. I mean, hindsight, yes, of course, maybe ifs and buts, maybe a 3-5-2. change it up a little bit, go with 2 strikers, Rusyn and Mayenda as a pair. He was dropping in at times. You know, what I've seen of him so far, he's quite a big, strong lad.
Yep.
You know, you can see he's more than capable of getting hold of it and rolling a centre back.
Yep.
He looks like he can run as well when he gets on the turn. We see one down the touchline first half as well. But at the end of the day, what do we want our strikers doing? It's getting in the box there when the ball's coming in there, getting on the end of things, whether it's a dirty tapping from 2 yards just to get one of them off and running, and then get some confidence into them. And then for Tony Moby and the staff to say, right, there you go, you've got the goal, you've got the shirt, now go on a little bit of a run and kick us on. Because all of a sudden the goals are starting to dry up a little bit. I know we've obviously got one again this evening, but was it 1 in 4 away from home? So yeah, I mean, what did he say there about a 20 grand striker coming into the club? Is it going to make a difference? Well, looking at the game at the weekend at Plymouth, there was a lot of ball went into the box there. Some good crosses were going in. It's just crying out for somebody to get on the end of it. Couple in the second half. To say Jack just fizzed one across there late on as well. And sometimes it just, when you're in that bit of a rut and it's not dropping for you, you know, we've hit the woodwork a few times in the last few weeks as well. They made some good blocks, to be fair. The one off Dan Neil we've seen there, maybe off the elbow. But sometimes when it's not going for you, it just doesn't go. But we can't keep saying, no, we've played well. We just haven't had the rub of the green. We weren't quite at our best tonight. We were better at Plymouth for me at the weekend than what we were this evening. But we've got to try and turn it around sharpish.
Yeah, and we will be turning it around sharpish because we've got the game, of course, at the weekend at Millwall. Let's have a look at another thought then, please. Got a couple left. When did we stop running at players? The slow pace passing game doesn't work. I can see James's frustration there because a lot of fans will be frustrated in the ground this evening because they saw 2 lines of Huddersfield Town players, and that's always going to be hard to unlock. But it's up to those players out there to try and find the key.
Well, yeah, it is, and then obviously if you're looking at the sort of last 20 minutes or so, and especially when they've got themselves in front for the second time, they just banged it up, didn't they? The back 5 across the 18-yard line and then 4 in front of them. And then 1 a little bit higher up, and it was almost attack v defence in the final third of the pitch. I've said it a few times, haven't we? Don't care who you are, whether you be Man City, Liverpool or Sunderland, it becomes difficult for those little threaded passes. You can make as many changes. We made 5 at the top end, didn't we?
And some of those balls that were getting played into the box, Danny, there was like 20 players in the box.
Yeah, and you know, of course, you keep putting the balls in. Hopefully, in the end, you're going to get somebody on the end of one. One at the weekend, I think it was Trey Hume, wasn't it? Gets on the end of one, comes off the inside of the post. But when do we stop running at players? Yeah, I think, you know, obviously Jack keep giving him the ball and he'll keep going. But the problem was there, sometimes he gets it and he looks up and he's got 2 or 3, you know, blue and white shirts as it was the side. Difficult for him. You know, if he keeps dribbling, and a few times he did tonight, and he ran into players with it or he lost the ball. But then at the same time, so what I'm thinking there is switch it and go out the other side. If Jack's got 2 or 3 bodies attracted towards him, then we should have an outlet on the other side of the pitch and maybe switch it a little bit quicker and go out the other side. Abdullah Bar came on, didn't really have much of an impact on the game, kept coming inside on his left foot into the bodies. So yeah, something that they're perhaps going to have to have a look at and work in the final third. You know, when Jack's coming in, when Patrick, it's on the overlaps there, feeding balls out. Frustrating one. You can see with the questions tonight, obviously fans are frustrated. We're obviously frustrated, expecting us to come here tonight and get back to winning ways. It's not been the case.
We have one more, I believe. And this is the final one from Paul, who says, if SAFC are mid-table in January, will Jack Clarke be away? Struggling Prem sides would take a punt on him to score and create goals to keep them in the Prem, i.e. Everton, Bournemouth, Fulham, and probably triple his wages as well, Danny.
Yeah, possibly. And obviously there's a lot of talk about Jack, and he was, I don't know if he still is, top scorer in the league. You know, he's not an out-and-out striker, is he? He's a winger. I know he's had 4 penalties in that, but he's going to create, and he keeps going, I think, Jack, in games, you know. You know, when you look at the stats, which usually they put up on a Monday morning, well, obviously tomorrow will be a Thursday if the boys are in, and Jack will be up there for high intensity. You know, he keeps receiving the ball, he keeps going, driving at full-backs and centre-halves. And just said it there, we obviously rely on Jack a lot for our creative side of the game. But I'm sure clubs have had a look at him. There'll have been scouts tonight, not just looking at Jack. Obviously come and watch games and have a look at other players. And he will have, you know, perked a few up. I'm sure who may be looking in January. He said there, if we're mid-table in January, will 1 or 2 have a look at him. I'm sure 1 or 2 are already maybe having a look at him and possibly looking at putting a bid in early in January. We'll have to wait and see. But if that's the case, and I'm sure Christian and the rest of the recruitment team know that at some stage somebody is going to come in and put a bid in for Jack. They'll have probably put a price on him, what they feel is right, if somebody does come in for him. And then if he does go, then we're going to have to look at getting replacements in. It's already been talked about with Ross. You know, was it 10 million we got for him from Southampton? Are they looking at maybe putting some of that back into the transfer window in January already? You know, top end of the pitch. If none of these strikers are scoring, we got asked about it after the game on Saturday, didn't we? You know, we've got four strikers at the club, really. So if you're going to bring more in, then what do we do with these boys? So you're going to have a lot of strikers at the club. More often than not, we only play with one. So it's something I'm sure that the club will be accepting, maybe, and expecting if an offer comes in for him in January. And then it's what do we do then?
We'll see. Okay, then. Sunderland could put this right, though, once again, in a couple of days, as they're back in action on Saturday, the 2nd of December. You'll have had your second advent calendar chocolate by then, Danny, because that is a 3 p.m. kickoff down at the Den against Millwall. Will be on air from 2:15 here on SAFC Live. Go to safc.com for your streaming passes for that one. Hasn't been Sunderland's night. We'll see you at the weekend.